Hey guys, welcome back to the Nerdatorium with Mr. Idea. So we're working with part 2 of woodmilling a bench. I'm just going to get these logs moved and the main log that I'm going to try milling today up on top of the stand that I whipped up. Looks like that should work out okay. So here's my version of a Alaskan sawmill, at least made on the cheap with some 2x4s. So I've got it strapped onto this steel MS 880 chainsaw. So I made a C shape out of some 2x4s, and I've got some boards cut on the bottom so that way when I C-clamp it, it won't bend the bar or bind up the chain. I haven't dried this out yet, so we'll see what happens. So I was surprised to find out that the bar actually rested nicely on the guide rails. It wasn't too out of balance. I did have to pick up on the back end of the chainsaw a little bit. At first I started just using the handle on the chainsaw itself. It didn't work out real well, so I ended up adding a handle, which I put out too far, ironically, and I ended up just pushing on the 2x4 for most of the time. At some point I got a little bit tired of pushing on it, so I decided I would try to use some 550 cord, some screws to hook up a little pulley system to try to pull on the tip of the chain, or the tip of the bar, but it didn't work out. There was too much friction in the 550 cord and the screws, so I ended up just removing that pretty quickly. I did have to stop for fuel and bar oil, and I decided I would sharpen the chain while I was at it. This was a whole lot of work, but I think it's going to be worth it, even if it's not the most beautiful thing. When you do something by yourself, that sense of accomplishment is always worth it. Even if there's imperfections, it lets you know that it was handmade, and I always enjoy that pleasure you get out of making something. I would not be as thrilled if I bought something like this in the store. It may look a little bit nicer, but that self-satisfaction is always worth it. With the miracles of the camera, you can see that we sped this up quite a bit. It would have been a long, boring video if I would have actually recorded this. It was not very exciting. It was very tedious. It was a great relief to finally get to that last 2 inches. I was celebrating on the inside a little bit.
Whew. Finally through this thing. Yeah. It's got some personality.
So I think it came out really well. I was a little bit surprised. I didn't expect it to come out quite this nice. It was really worth the work. I just have to do the other cut now to actually get a single board, which involves a third cut to make a second board, so that way I have a seat and a backrest. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Just stay tuned. Part 3 will be coming out shortly.